In the main event on Saturday night, we will watch a unique matchup for the middleweight championship live in Melbourne, Australia, as two former welterweights will meet in a head-on collision that is sure to excite anyone. Much like our Johnny Walker video that you can watch here, this is a two-part video series that will take a trip back on both men's careers and give you everything you need to know about the champion and the challenger. Let's start with the challenger, Kelvin Gastelum, for this video. He will be stepping onto enemy soil when entering the octagon this weekend, and he looks to play spoiler for Whittaker's long-awaited debut in Australia. At 27 years of age, it only took Kelvin Gastelum 5 professional fights before signing to the UFC's famous Ultimate Fighter TV show. Gastelum appeared on Season 17 in the middleweight division, winning 4 straight fights, all ending in stoppage, before meeting the all-around super athlete and much for the entire part of the show, the star, Uriah Hall.
Nice. Excellent jabs. Hey!
Let's go offense on him.
More, couple more.
More offense.
Who had been making a name for himself with athletic striking and brutal KOs.
More offense.
In the live televised finale, Gastelum continued his winning ways, taking home his first ever decision and the Ultimate Fighter crown, and a fat pay bonus to boot. Gastelum was also the youngest winner in the TV show's history at 21. Immediately following the show, Kelvin Gastelum made the decision that he would make the move to welterweight, in a decision that could have been a request from the UFC due to Gastelum's bigger frame, but this would cause Gastelum some problems in the near future. Gastelum's debut in the UFC at welterweight wasn't much of a problem. The young phenom would win 3 straight and capture a Performance of the Night bonus against Jake Ellenberger, finishing him via rear naked choke. This would be Gastelum's 5th rear naked choke finish. One of the exceptional things about Gastelum's game is that he is able to finish the fight on the feet or grappling. Out of his 13 finishes, 7 have come by KO or TKO, and 6 by submission to this point. But after the Ellenberger fight, the road for Gastelum got tough. In his 3-fight win streak, Gastelum missed weight once, but it was only by 1 pound and really didn't raise eyebrows. Against Woodley, however, Gastelum came in 10 pounds over the weight limit. And this, in MMA, is a very disgraced situation, especially when the miss is as drastic as it was. I can bring up the names of Mackenzie Dern and Sijara Eubanks, who will have to overcome the same thing that Gastelum has already done. To add fuel to the fire, in this fight against Woodley, Gastelum lost the fight, and the future welterweight champion Tyron Woodley would call him out for his actions, missing weight by 10 pounds.
You know, when they told me originally, I was pissed off. You know, I've said some words that Dana and a million other people probably have never heard me say. I'm pretty quiet. Principle to me really kind of bites me really hard, and it's just tough going through a training camp, especially for me. I changed a lot of things in my life. I'm not a small welterweight myself. You know, I'm a big guy for the welterweight division, so for me to be able to monitor that, make those lifestyle changes, and take it as a professional, I was just kind of a little annoyed, and a lot of it had to do with weight cutting. You know, the kid lost, had his first loss. He's not going to get his win bonus. Dana White's probably yelled at him. His coaches probably yelled at him. He's probably pissed off by himself. So I just can't find it in my heart to do that right now. But I got the win. I had a good performance, and I feel good about it.
So in a very obvious next step, Gastelum made the move to the division he'd made his debut in. This came with the call out from Dana White, who usually gets his way in these situations. However, this wouldn't be the last time Kelvin would have an issue at welterweight.
I love this kid. He's such a great fighter. I love how first of all, he goes in with a kid like Marquardt and stands right in the pocket with him and exchanges. His stand-up looked great tonight, but I don't believe he can make 170. He's going to have to get serious and get a nutritionist. He had to cut to make 85, and he came in right on the nose, you know? So I am the furthest from confident that he is capable of making 170.
So now Kelvin would be making the move to return to his original division and would start his campaign at the title. This run for Kelvin would feature losses and wins, a roller coaster returning him to his form. His first fight against Nate Marquardt was a brutal return to form, as Nate's corner had to stop the fight after the second round. Gastelum's second fight was a decision loss to the lengthy Neil Magny, who frustrated a lot of the aspects of Kelvin Gastelum's game, as Magny is a very well-rounded fighter, and he edged out Gastelum in a split decision. Gastelum then went on to fight Johnny Hendricks and just controlled the fight from bell to bell, winning in a unanimous decision, getting that win back. For an extremely odd reason, the weight issues would pop up again, and possibly the final shot at trying his luck on the scales, there was an entire fight scrapped when Gastelum was scheduled to fight Donald Cowboy Cerrone at welterweight, but didn't even attempt to make the 171-pound limit, and the whole fight was scrapped before the event. Then, again, on his second run at middleweight, he split 3 fights, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 no contest. His loss to Weidman was the first time Gastelum was ever finished inside the octagon in his professional and amateur career. He would have been 2-1 in these 3 fights, but a win against Vitor Belfort was turned into a no contest due to marijuana in Gastelum's system. Also, throughout this run at middleweight, they attempted to schedule Gastelum against Anderson Silva multiple times, but the fight never materialized. On the closest attempt, Silva was pulled due to a USADA drug test, and in probably the most beneficial timing for Gastelum, the former champion Michael Bisping gave Kelvin a fight on short notice after being finished by GSP just 21 days before. The biggest win of Gastelum's career came on that night. Combining the most recent champion with one of the best one-punch knockouts in recent memory, Kelvin would be fighting next for basically the #1 contender spot and a shot at the title. His opponent in that fight would be Jacare himself, who is one of the most dangerous ground specialists in the game today and is easily the best jiu-jitsu fighter at middleweight. Souza was coming along with his striking as well, showing it off in his last fight against Chris Weidman that we saw, winning by TKO, and his fight against Derek Brunson, which was also a TKO finish. In his recent fights, Jacare would use his exceptional jiu-jitsu only if necessary. Souza could be on the list of best fighters to never get a title shot, and in this fight against Gastelum, this was his chance. And in perfect fashion, 2 guys vying for the belt, this fight was a back-and-forth war, all but expected for 2 elite middleweights vying for a shot at the title. Don't trust me. Go take a look. The fight won both fighters the Fight of the Night bonus, and Kelvin left the octagon edging it on the judges' scorecards and would now await the champion of Whitaker and Yoel Romero too. Souza would go back to the drawing board and look to find another fight that might get him a title shot. After this fight, we end up where we are. Kelvin is now scheduled for the biggest fight of his career for UFC Gold against the champion Robert Whitaker. If anything, Gastelum's career should tell you about his strength in adversity and willingness to come back from losses and unfavorable situations. Is Gastelum going to beat the Reaper in his return to his home country and play spoiler to the Aussie? Please, let me know your pick and anything else you'd like to mention in the comments below. How can we improve this series? Who would you like to see next? Anything and everything is open for discussion down below, but thanks again for watching. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. Did you guys enjoy? Remember to comment anything your heart desires. Beside me are 2 other videos you can take a look at for more. And you probably can't see my face right now, but click the logo to subscribe for more daily gaming, MMA, and overall sports content. Cheers, beauties.